Okay, now we're going to Sydney's favorite standard, the I. It's not everybody often you get a call out in my video, just admit it. Mr. Rower got one earlier this year, and now you join him, the favorite standard, the I. Okay, so that's called a complex number, and that's a complex number. So when I multiply a complex number, the result is another complex number. Okay, so let's FOIL that. So we got 8 times 2, 8 times negative 3i. 5i times 2, and then 5i times negative 3i. That's 16, that's negative 24i, and that's 10i, negative 15i squared. But remember, there's something about I squared, and that's the fact that it's always equivalent to negative 1. So negative 1 times negative 15 is 15. Okay, so now I have two sets of like terms. I can add those, and that's negative 14. Just put that. It's negative 14i. And I can add those. It's 31. Boom. Just fill that in. Okay, finding two answers, but we are going to have to use some i's here. All you have is x squared, so that would be a like terms problem. So I plus 24. We plus 24. So 3x to the second power is, I should know that in my head, but it's late here. It's actually 920, negative 84, okay? Yep, it is, okay? Now divide that by 3. 84, negative 84 divided by 3 is negative 28, okay? So now we find on like terms problems, you need to do the square root. Plus or minus, you need to extract an I out of that. And then on these like terms problems, I want two square roots. Okay, if I had to bring out an I, two square roots. Look on the board, what's 28 divided by? I believe 4. Put that first. 28 divided by 4 is 7. Get that out of there, and that's 2. So 2 square root 7, and you need to put the I, you're supposed to put the I right in front of the square root. Now, if you put it like somewhere else, I'm probably not going to freak out as long as it's there. So my answers are 2I square root 7 and 2I square root 7 negative. Okay? All right, that's next one. Now, this one's going to be a factoring problem. Okay? And zero's there, so the GCF and the T, okay. GCF, you don't have one, forget it, okay. Positive 44, sum of 8. Well, the reason this is called standard I, one of the reasons is the T chart never works here, okay. So, song. Opposite of b, plus or minus the square root, b squared minus these three things, okay? So b is negative 8, and then I got a 4, give me another 4, and then c is 11, positive 11. Then the product of 2 and 4 is 8. Okay, so I've got 8 plus or minus something over 8, okay? Try the square root, just like we always do. Bummer, dude. Okay. So what you're going to have to do is, everybody, you got to do it this way. Negative 8 times itself, 4 by 4 by 11. So we got 64 minus. It's going to be 4 times 11 is 176. 64 minus 176 is negative 112. And then since I had a negative, that's why it said domain error, we bring out an I. Now, anytime we bring out an I, we have to do the double square roots, okay? If you don't have an I, if you don't have to do an I want you to square root it and put the decimal right there so you can go ahead. But anytime we got to do I want the double square roots. So you look on the board, 112 by 100, no. 112 by 81, no. 112 by 64, no. 112 divided by 49, that's a fail. 36, fail. Pretty fun here. Fail. 7, okay. So 16 and 7, so that's 4. So over here I put 4 square root 7, but we got to show there was an I, and I really can't do anything more with that because of the I and the square root. So 8 plus 4I square root 7 over 8. And then we switch the plus to a minus is all we do in the second. That's why it says plus or minus. Those are complex answers.